I first met the Queen when I received my OBE, and it was just a handshake and a quick hello. But I got to really speak to her quite deeply in 2012 for her Diamond Jubilee, because I was the Chancellor of Exeter University, the first black woman Chancellor in this country in 2006.
Oh, great.
And in 2012, for her Diamond Jubilee, she came to Exeter to visit the university and to celebrate in the Southwest. And so I had to introduce her to everyone, you know, but then we sat and we had lunch together. And the Queen was the most remarkable woman. She was like a walking encyclopedia. She knew everything about everything. And she told me all about her family. We talked about food, about children, about the House of Lords. And I thought, she's being so open with me, I'll tell her a bit of my story too. So I said, you know, Mom, when I was a little girl in Trinidad, I used to stand in the playground and sing, God Save the Queen. I was told I was part of the motherland, that I was part of British society, British history. I learned nothing about my history, my heritage, but I knew all about Britain, and I felt proud to be British. But when I came here to Britain in 1960, it wasn't like that. I had to face so much adversity, break down so many barriers, but my mum and dad told me that they loved me, to be proud of who I am, and they gave me the confidence to face adversity with a smile. And, you know, I feel everybody who's done horrible things to me, I've forgiven them all. I have no hatred in my heart. And at that point, we really clicked, because I remember she sat back in her chair, and her blue eyes, she had beautiful blue eyes, and they sparkled. And she said to me, listening to you speak like this reminds me of my conversations with Nelson Mandela. He too had that same philosophy about forgiveness, and so do I. Because when you think about it, she went to Northern Ireland and shook Martin McGuinness's hand. She spoke in Irish. So she was a woman who really believed in forgiveness. And I think just before she died, 2 days before she died, apparently she was reading my autobiography, What Are You Doing Here? And apparently she said, I want Floella Benjamin to be appointed to the Order of Merit. And she had my book on her desk. And there's a photograph of her in the book. So I think there's some sort of a connection that we had together. And she reminds me of my mum, because my mum had that same kind of philosophy, and they were born almost at the same time. And when I received my Order of Merit in the chapel, St. James's Chapel, as I stepped out of the pew, on the floor was a white feather. And whenever I need my mum, I find a white feather, because I feel she's looking down at me and say, Gil, you're doing well. Well done.